Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. Okay, so I'm just looking at this possible downtrend at the moment. We've got two legs up and a bearish bar, but it's a little bit sideways here, and I'm not super convinced this channel is kind of valid. It's a little bit too early. There's not quite enough price action, I don't think. And it's close to the open, so sometimes when we have the open, you never know, this thing might flick around a bit. Leg up, see if we get a lower high here. That may push down, then we'll see. It's just hard to say at the moment. So leg, possible leg. Let's just take this wire off. Still a second entry short there. It's just a bit too early, really. It's flickering around. Does look like it's going to push down to these lows. Trouble is, there's a bit of a box around it, so you just don't know what it's going to do. Looks like it could range a little, which means we may get a bounce here. I'm not convinced we will, but at the moment, for me, it's just a little bit too earlier on in the morning. If we had a leg up and a leg up here and a bearish bar up here, then that would kind of interest me. Leg up, leg up. I want to push up here really with a bearish bar, then that would interest me. So unfortunately, we didn't tick above there. We did break out a bit, but then it just turned and pulled straight down. So too early at the moment. It's just going sideways at the moment, so not really much we can do until this clears up. What I'd like to see is something like that. A decent sized break out the top. Or even maybe a triple test up here. I'm just going to get an order ready up here, just in case we break above here. Possible hidden second entry long. I'd like to get above that bar there. That's cleared any possible liquidity out, so we've got a leg and a leg. If we can get a nice bearish bar here, that may interest me. Nothing. Looks like a hidden second entry short there. I was tempted there, but it's more of a doji. I would like to see a leg and a pull down. It's not far off. I think it would probably work. See if we get a lower high. Okay, so there's the measured move. Let's see if we get a reaction. Does look like a leg, 2 pulls back and a leg. Tough one, that. See if it looks any better here.
Order submitted.
Okay, hopefully we get a push down, 2 legs up, bearish bar. Doesn't look like it. Possible lower high, we'll see. Orders in anyway, I'm leaving it. What I might do is put that a bit lower down, because if it does push, it may get a decent push. There's going to be some stops down here, you can bet. Matt, how you doing, bud? Russell, how you doing? We've got this move down, 2 legs up, big bearish bar. It's held and pushed down. So I think that's still good, I think. There's going to be some stops down here. I'm hoping we're going to have a decent flush down. We'll see. I still like the trade. There's going to be a ton of stops down here. We can get below here. We should get a decent push. So push down, little pull back. Fingers crossed, come on. So we've got a little channel with a break, bearish bar there. Come on, get down. Push, come on, flush, leg and a leg. Get below here, we should be okay. Push. Doesn't want to go, does it? I still like the trade, so I'm still going to leave it. If we get below here, then I think we've got a good chance of getting down. Then hopefully get a decent push. I think I'm probably best to put that there now. If we can get below here, come on.
Order filled.
Bastard. Okay, I got out for a tick. Oh, shame, really. It's a shame to go for all that and just get out with a tick, but I thought it was the safer option. It's probably still go, to be fair, but I think it'll work once it gets below there. There is a lower high there possibly, but I think it's too late now. But I still like the trade. We got two nice legs up on the left side, big bearish bar. I still think that would work. So I got in about there. A bit lower, I can't remember now. So I got in there. So yeah, it's frustrating. Perhaps I should have left it. If you look at it like this, we've got a channel down, two clear legs up. A lot of time it'll do this before it'll work anyway. But when it had that push down there, I thought this should go now. Once it's done all this, it should go, which is why I thought at least get it to break even so that I got risk off the table then. But it is chopping around. Sometimes it does. But sometimes the longer it takes to go down, sometimes it can pop back. I don't think it will, but it messed around sideways here and now here. I didn't want to take the chance, but I think it'd push down right below here, to be honest with you. Maybe I should have left it, but there you go. That's where I think it'd push down. But because it's doing a lot of sideways, I think sometimes you're better off just to get out. See what I mean? It's pushing up now, so I think that's still safe. We'll see.
Order filled. Order filled.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of glad I got out of it now because does look like it's starting to back up. We'll see. If we can get a lower high here. Trouble is, it's getting a bit sideways now. Okay, so it's doing what I expected. I expect it to break below there. It just took quite a bit of time to get there, which is a shame, but there you go. But it didn't get back up to the top of there. I thought that was safe. It'll go. It'll go. I'm pretty sure of that. Once it gets below there, down it'll come. Okay, so a little bull bar here, which is triggered. I still think this will come down there. Trouble is, the more it chops around, the more chance it's got of not doing what you expect. So I think at some point it's worth getting out, but I'm still quietly confident we get below this line here. Nice big bearish bar here. That's what I wanted to see. So there's bound to be longs off that bottom. I wouldn't take a long off the bottom. It's just too risky. And if that gets stopped out, it'll almost definitely hit that stop there, followed by them two. And we should get a decent push then. Just starting to get a bit choppy though, that's the trouble. Okay, one more tick. That will get rid of that. There we go. That's gone now. Let's see this next. So that's gone, and this will go next. We're bouncing off it now. So there we go, it's broke below it. So it did what I expected. We got this move down, we got two clear legs up. It just took a bit of time, and it took quite a bit of heat there, which would have unnerved me, I don't doubt it. But, you know, sometimes you're best off just leave things where you are and let it play out. If I'd have done that, I'd have been up $300 odd per account. So it's just one of those things. Do you stay in, do you get out, or what do you do? It's just one of those things. There is a second entry long there. Is that a failed breakout? It's very tempting.
Order submitted.
It's a failed breakout of this range. Not a huge risk. Two nice legs down, leg down, leg down. I expect that to get to the EMA. I may have to take just a fraction off it just so it can hit it. It should do. Two nice legs down and a bullish bar.
Order filled.
Okay, so at least we're up something now. So we're up $150 per account. That's all right anyway. So finally, everything's shut down. Okay, so if I'd have left both trades there, I'd have been up a nice sight by now. That's a lovely trade, I think. Channel, two lovely little measured legs. These breaks out the top have come in. We've cleared any liquidity back there, so I expect at least it to get back to the EMA. And possibly higher. It is chopping around. So if I'd have left that, I'd have been up $300. With that 150, I'd have been up a nice amount today. But it's one of those things, isn't it? If it would have come up nicked me, I'd have been glad I get out of it. But unfortunately, we haven't got the luxury of hindsight, have we? So we kind of just have to do, you know, what we do, and kind of just go with it. But it's one of those things anyway. So, everything is shut, isn't it? I'm just going to quickly, the trouble is because I can't see, because Rhythmic isn't working on mine, I like to go into the app just to make sure everything's shut. It'll kick me out of NinjaTrader here though. Just double click and make sure everything's closed. Okay, so we're sorted there, so I've got to sign back in. It's a pain, that is. I'm tempted to upgrade my computer. I was going through some numbers. For some reason, I just cannot. It will not let me open Rhythmic for some reason. For the life of me, I don't know why. I've deleted it now, but I was tempted to upload. Anybody PC experts out there? I'll show you what I'm looking at. Any PC nerds out there? This is what I'm looking at the moment. So I'm looking at the i9 14900 processor. 2 terabytes of RAM, the NVMe RAM. There's the motherboard, 64 gig of DDR5, it's a good quality RAM. RTX 5070 Ti graphics card. There's the case and the power unit. I'm missing something, aren't I? No, I'm not. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. It all comes to around about $2,000, I think. I think it's about $2,000. So I should future-proof myself there. Why does it not go into that? Anyway, it's about $2,000. So I've had this computer now for about 5 years. That PC equipment only for trading or will you be game? I don't tend to game. I'd like to have a go at it a little bit. I haven't gamed for years, but mainly for trading. So the thing is, from kind of bits advice, uses way less power, way less heat. Yeah, I've got AMD at the moment. I've got a Ryzen 7 3800X at the moment. But I built my last PC. I've only ever built one before. But I don't know. I've been using that, what's it called? Bench, which I've used before. What's it called? Oh, what's it called? Yeah, use a bench or use a benchmark. And I went through my system. My system used to come out really high. But I've had it over 4 years now, so if only for trading, then Rocker Asus 57 graphics card might be a bit overkill. The trouble is, I've got a little bit of advice from a guy who makes or builds trading. Well, I've watched some of his videos. He makes them in the US. And the trouble is, I've got 4 monitors, so just keep this in mind. So I have 3 charts, which I'm looking at. I have Replicanto. I have Discord, I have OBS running, and I have YouTube running as well, which is doing all the comments and that. So I do have quite a lot. I've got some news coming up on my computer on the go. So it may, yeah, I get it may be a bit overkill, but I'd probably rather go for something a little bit leaner than not enough. Now, I'm a bit of an airline fan, and I wouldn't mind having a go at, you know, one of the flight sims, something like that, just to chill me out. That's pretty expensive. You should be able to build a nice one for half that. Where are you, bud? Are you in the UK? See, there's two places I've used before in the UK. There's one place called Overclockers, which kind of specialise in PCs and parts and that. But I've price matched Overclockers against Amazon, and Amazon, I save about 180 quid on that unit. Let me open it again. I tend to buy all good quality parts because if you buy good parts, they tend to last, don't they? So, you know, I've spent £256 on the 64 gig of that, 800 for that. I suppose I could drop that a little bit. The processor's 377, which I don't think's that bad. 140 for the 2 terabytes. They're pretty standard, aren't they? It's just a Samsung one. Case is 130. I've got plenty of power. There's 850 watts. That'd be more than enough to run it. So, and I think that comes out at around about £2,000. Let me just go towards checkout. See what it totals up. I don't know why it's not taking it towards checkout. No items selected. Okay. So, I mean, the last PC I built, I use a Ryzen, so I could go for Ryzen, but to be honest with you, there's not a huge amount of difference in the price. But I have joined a couple of forums. Yeah, 2020. I have joined a couple of forums just to kind of get a bit of kind of ongoing advice, you know what I mean? Go AMD 7800, whichever is cheaper. Yeah. So at the moment, if I look, so we're talking about Ryzen 9, are we? Ryzen 9. I'm assuming 9's quicker than 7, isn't it? So if I go for, if I look for Ryzen 9 1900X, it's not a huge amount of difference. It's about £40–50 difference, that is. But is it a better chip? It's hard to say. If I go up to that, price shoots up. What would you say? 3D. So you're talking about a Ryzen 7, aren't you? So I've got a Ryzen 7 now, 3800X. I know obviously that you know the models go up, but what I'd like to try and do is future-proof myself a little bit. Surely a Ryzen 9 is a quicker processor than the Ryzen 7, isn't it? If you want game, then go for X3D. They offer way more performance and sims racing and flight sims. So we're talking Ryzen 9 or Ryzen 7? Next processor next year without changing motherboards. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you're talking a Ryzen 9? I'm assuming a Ryzen 9s are quicker than a Ryzen 7, aren't they? Ryzen 7. Okay, so that's a bit slower. That should be a bit cheaper, shouldn't it? 98 3D. So talking about that, what's the price of that? Okay, so that's pretty reasonable. But is that a quicker processor than that? Because the money is what, 50 quid, 60 quid, 55 quid difference? It's not a huge amount, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to go through it a bit. I have looked at, I have been looking at user bench, which kind of pits, you know, you can put a bunch in your basket and it'll tell you how it scores. And the machine I picked there, they come out as at a, I think it's a UFO, isn't it? Which is kind of quicker the quick type thing. Oh, is it really? Well, see. I don't know how it all works. Trouble is, I'm not sort of major computer savvy. I can get by with them. As I say, I built one. I built this one I've got 4 years ago, and it's still going. I mean, I've always been I'd rather build something than buy it, but I built it. I just sat on the kitchen table with half a bottle of single malt, and what amazed me is it worked, and it's worked ever since. I like a bit of DIY, but I wouldn't necessarily be particularly good at it. But Intel-based in gaming. All reviews will prove that AMD is better. Yeah, and generally cheaper as well. So, what is going on here? Yeah, see, Dan looked like a channel here. That didn't look like a channel to me. That looked like it was 2 legs. So, second entry long plus 3 points. That one. Did work in the end, but second entry short. Plus tick. He paid for the commissions. Okay. CPU market's changed in the last year. I've noticed GPUs have come down a bit since, well, they came down a bit more, didn't they? Because, you know, everyone was snapping them up to mine Bitcoin, but when the kind of, you know, the energy prices started to soar, people weren't using them because it wasn't worth it. So obviously the price dropped then. So we've got what looks like a correction here. So this may well push up. It's hard to say at the moment. Not sure what Nut is doing today. I was just having a look. I know he got absolutely crucified yesterday. He had his worst day ever. He blew 20 of his 150,000 PA accounts. He ended up losing 75 grand. Can't imagine how that feels. But he's had bad days before and he'll bounce back. But he's not streaming today. I was just having a browse around to see how everybody did. Sorry, how everybody was doing. It's obviously catching. Wow. Alpine's having a bad day as well. He's down 17 grand. My God, it must be catching. He is trading nutty. I do feel sorry for him because he uses a piece of software like channel break, new high, lower high. If we get something short here, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. He uses a piece of software very similar to Guardian Angel, and they had some sort of upgrade on it, so he didn't use it for the day, and it was the one day he ended up getting crucified, which is a real shame. I don't like to see anybody doing badly. There is a lower high here. Is this coming down though? I don't really want to get in for 17 ticks just here. It probably is. It's a little bit choppy though. It's right in the middle of all this at the moment. So channel break, new high, back to the EMA. Big bullish bar there. It's in the middle of this chop. Is it going to push up? Probably. I mean, it does look like we've got a correction down there, but it's such a big bar. You'd be taking it based on the fact that you think it's going up, but at the moment it's not super clear. Does look like a correction, but it's just a bit too risky, I think, going along there, especially for 19 ticks. There is a lower high there. Trouble is, it's big again, isn't it? And it is a little bit choppy still. It's a bit choppy there. So if we are going a bit sideways, you wouldn't want to go short into the bottom. I mean, it may well work. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, pal? Excuse me. It may well work. But it's a bit choppy, I think, in fact. It's more or less gone into that range again. Yeah, it's still kind of a little bit ranging. Break out the top, break out the bottom. So as we've had that break out the bottom, I think there's a good chance we get one up here. So I can see that going a bit higher. Sam, how you doing, pal? Actually, I think that's probably more break even, I think. Let's just leave it. Yeah, you can do, bud. Sorry, Matt, I didn't see you there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. Well, actually, no, not at the moment. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna treat myself to one for Christmas. So I'm gonna probably wait a couple of months. Hopefully, prices might go down a bit more. That'll give me something to do over Christmas. So I'm going to buy the parts, get my wife to wrap them up for me, and that way I've got something to do over the Christmas break. My daughter's getting older, so we don't do doll houses or anything. Used to spend up till early hours building all sorts of stuff when my daughter was little. To see if Mac marks that lower high that failed. The lower high that failed. Yeah. It's there somewhere. I'll tell you what, I'll type it in for you. There you go. That's me there. What is going on here at the moment? Is there some kind of downtrend? It's hard to say. It's not obvious. It's a bit... It's not super clear, is it? There is a slight downward bias, I will say, but I certainly wouldn't want to trade it based on that channel. Depends how you got it drawn there. If you look on the left side, you can have a break of that and a push up, but it's just not super clear at the moment. It's easy to get into a trade for it to turn on you. You could go with that, I suppose, which means at the moment we're still continuing up, so just got to sit tight. The beauty is I'm up a trade today anyway, so I'm more than happy. Yeah. There you go. channel break new high. Okay, so that's played out. Mm. Okay, so channel break new high. There is a lower high there. Is it coming down? Quite possibly. We do seem to be finding sellers around this area here. But same again, it's 16 ticks. I'm relying on it going down. I'm not convinced it's going to. Well, I'm not sure it's going to, so I'm just sort of sitting tight at the minute. It may do. It's at the lower high. I'm just a little bit skeptical at the moment. I don't know. When I'm up a trade, it's rare I take another one. And it still is a little bit... oh, from the top. Oh, I got you. I thought you meant there. I'm not saying it's a bad trade. It's quite a large one, and we've broken below these 2 bits of liquidity here, so I'm just not convinced. Yeah, up here somewhere. Yeah. We do seem to be finding sellers up here, so I kind of guessed when it had that there was a good chance it was going to go down. See, we've had that push down and we've broken through any stops that may have been there, so it may have a pullback now before. That's indeed if it comes further down. There was a lower high there, but I don't know what it went for. I don't think it went for a huge amount. Okay, so you got a couple of points out of it. Is it going to get stopped out? I think it might do, which is why I left it really. I'd have gone for 3 points, so I wouldn't have got that, and this would have been coming back at me. So another tick, yeah. So if you'd have taken that one and you'd have gone for 3 points like me, you'd have been you'd have been shafted there. So I'm just a bit unsure what's going on here. It's not a nice pattern, is it? It's quite messy. You know, when it's congested like this, a lot of the time you can still read it. Here, it's not so bad. It is readable. You can see we got 2 legs up there, and then we got 2 nice legs down where I took that trade. So this is a bit clear, but it's a little bit more readable. We push up, we go sideways, we push up there. It's a bit more messy on the kind of right. So I'm just a bit unsure what's going on here, really. So it's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, so it depends how you look at this range. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad, actually, does it? Trouble is, what makes it more challenging is 1 minute this is the range, then maybe down here. So when it's messing around up and down, and 1 minute, you know, every time we hit the top here, we're bouncing a different level, and down here and down here. It makes it so much harder to trade, and you just don't have a lot of confidence in it. And I think the lack of the confidence, I just tend to, if I don't feel confident in the way price is going, I just tend to sit back. I'm cautious, which I don't think is a bad thing to do. You know, if prices are chopping around, they're a bit trappy, they're unclear, the best option really is to sit on your hands until you get some sort of clarity. But it's very easy to get into same sort of setups. But the trouble is, it's okay taking a short or taking a long off the top or bottom, but which is the top? Is it up here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? You know what I mean? It's hard to know how far the thing's going to go. You don't know. I mean, this thing up here, we had a few bounces. You don't know if it's going to trigger you, push up, take out liquidity before it pushes lower if it does. So that's the trouble, really, with these range days. If it's bouncing nice in the same sort of area, and like this trade here, you can see 2 clear legs down, then it's not so bad. But we don't always get it like that. Quite often, there's no real kind of symmetry to this, really, is there? If you look into it, you can pick areas, but there's no real symmetry. It's a little bit messy. The left chart does seem a little bit clearer. Maybe it's just me. Probably because I've taken a couple of trades here, and I can kind of see them, which is telling me a bit of a clearer story. But as I say, really, you know, if I could guarantee myself to get 2 clear winning trades per week, you know, even if I take 4 and lose 1, if I can get up 2 clear trades, that's about $300 minus commissions. That's over $1,300 a month. You've got a bunch of accounts, you can earn plenty. So, you know, if I'd much rather sit and wait patiently and just try and get the trades, but I'm up a trade today, so that's good. If I can get up another trade throughout the rest of the week, you know, I've earned okay. Beauty is as well is I'm trading my PA account at 2 contracts and the other one's at 1 contract. So that's already put me up 3,600, something like that for the day. In fact, a little bit more actually. So, you know, you don't need to do a huge amount really just to get some consistent paychecks coming in. I go for 3 points, mate. Yeah, flat 3 points. I am going to have to start leaving these trades go as well. If I'd have left that, it eventually worked. But I got out break even. But I liked it. We got a channel down there. You can see 2 nice measured legs. You can see the 1 leg up, a little bit of a correction, and then a second leg up. You can see as well, there's a big bullish higher low there. There's bound to be traders trapping that to push higher to these highs, and then we ticked above it, came down. So my gut feeling, this was going to come down. Unfortunately, it came back a little bit too close. When it did that, I think I got out about here. We had that initial push down, and I thought, okay, let's bring stop to break even. Now it's got through bits of liquidity. It's probably going to hold and continue down. And unfortunately, it came down a bit more and took me out. But it did eventually work. What I will say is all the trades I've taken that I've got out break even, I'd say 75% of them went on to win. So I'd still be financially better off letting a trade go, which I'm going to have to do. Now, in all fairness, it did come back and start to chop a little bit. So it's one of those things. Am I better off keeping it to break even that way I've taken any risk? Are you best off sometimes to have no risk, a risk-free trade, or sometimes you're better off leaving it? It swings and roundabouts. If I'd have got into it, there does, yeah. See, that was also a penguin style trade, wasn't it? Channel down, two nice legs up. When it pushed below that EMA, that was a trade to take, I think. If you got in maybe somewhere here, put your stop here, out before the lows, it eventually worked. Does look very penguin-like, doesn't it, that? You can see two clear legs up, nice measured move. So we've got this move down, two clear legs up with a correction in between. Yeah, he blew 20 accounts. He lost 75 grand in his counts. The one thing about Nutty, though, is he does bounce back. But yeah, he kind of went on tilt. We've all done it, let's face it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. That's why I have my... how you doing, buddy? That's why I have my stop locked now, so I can only move towards profit. I can't move away. He said he moved his stop. The trouble is, when you move it once and price comes towards you, you kind of... You panic then, and more often than not, you move it a bit more and it comes towards you a bit more. And then you've kind of almost switched on a ticking bomb there, and it's just a matter of time. There's a slight possibility you might defuse it, but chances are you're going to get blown to kingdom come. And that's what happened with him yesterday, unfortunately. We've all done it. I've done it myself. I had 5 great payments. Best month being $12,000, and then I moved my stop once, came against me, panicked, move it again, and when you go so far, it's very hard to go back. So I had to regroup. I spent a few weeks blowing accounts just out of pure frustration, and then I managed to get some back and just build them up a bit slow. Once you can get accounts up to say 3,000, you pay yourself 1,000. All you've really got to do is make 1,000 over the next month, which is relatively straightforward, and then you can pay yourself that again. And that's kind of what I did. And unfortunately, because of that stupid stop move, I ended up losing it all. But then you got to build it all back again. So it's just you have to learn from it. Yeah, but the one thing I like about Guardian Angel Trader is that stop lock. See, I have my stop set at 6 points, which gives me plenty of room to drag it into place. As soon as I drag that into place and let that go, I can only move it towards profit. Even if I decided to go on tilt and leave it at there, one contract, all I'm doing is risking $300, and I can do that twice. So if I absolutely go on tilt and the shit hits the fan, the worst damage I can possibly do in a day is $600. Even if I didn't move my stop into place. So I'm kind of, doubly protected. I'm an Australian friend right now. Australian friend. She might visit me in Italy. Fantastic. I'd love to go to Australia. We've got the Ashes coming up in Australia. I don't know if anybody watches cricket. But we play Australia every 2 years. And it kind of alternates here, and then it's in Australia. So Yeah, it's on my bucket list in the next year or so to go to Australia for 5 weeks to watch the Ashes series. There's just something nice about sitting drinking beer in the open, watching a bit of sport. So that starts in October, I think. And what I like as well is I think one of the games on Boxing Day in Australia, which is Christmas Day in the evening. So, you know, when you get to the end of Christmas Day and you get that kind of miserable down feeling, I've got that to look forward to. So that's going to keep me in good cheer. You have to train your brain to trade as a business. Yeah, you do. I found it near damn impossible when you start, but eventually, slowly, you seem to get more control. And what I think, like with Nutty, some of his accounts were 200 days old, so he's held them on for a good period of time. And what I think is when you do have a blowout, and I felt like I was due for a blowout because I was doing some stupid things. But you do learn. It's not a quick process, but it does slowly get better. And I blow less accounts and make more money every year. So by my calculations, I'm aiming in the right direction. But it does happen. You know, I had 5 months of payments from 9 of my accounts every month. So I was really pleased with that. And I had a couple of bad days, a little bit frustrated. And it just caught me on the wrong day, and I moved my stop a little bit. And as soon as I did that, price came towards me. So whereas I was going to be 200 down, I ended up 400 down. And then it came towards me stop, and I moved it again, and then it was 600 and 800. And then you're in the lap of the gods then. And you'll get away with it occasionally. But the trouble is, if you do that, you've blown all your accounts, but you're back to square one. Then, you know, it takes time. Then it might take you 2 or 3 months to build them back up again. So you're missing payments. So not only have you got to buy more evals and PAs, you've then got that period of a month or 2 where you're not getting paid anything to get them back up. And sometimes when you do have a kind of a wreck of a time, it's very hard to get back on the wagon again and you know, steer it in the straight line. You tend to be frustrated for a while, and that can lead you to do stupid things again. But you do tend to recover quicker, and I think you tend to hold on to your accounts. But you have to go through that process of banging your head against the wall to eventually realise it hurts, and I ain't getting anywhere. Unfortunately, it is a slow process. But the way I see it is if you're earning more money every year, and your habits are starting to get less and less, you're aiming in the right direction. You know, there are some people who learn quick. Some people, they seem to need a little bit more punishment. But that's trading for you, I think. You know, you can earn a significant amount of money in trading, and if it was going to be that easy, everyone would be doing it. And that's why they have a high failure rate. Not because you're not capable, not because you can't learn it. It's because you get a little bit of punishment and people go, I can't do this. It's too hard, or I'm not losing money. And so you've really got to be one of those stubborn, pig-headed people which will just keep coming back and keep coming back. But yeah, I got to say, it's way harder than I ever dreamed it would be. And I've been trading now, it will be 5 years this November. And, you know, I feel like I've been on, it kind of pushes you to the limit. It tests you. It almost feels to me like a competitive sport. You've constantly be on your game. If you're not on your game, you get crucified. And it is like a real journey of kind of the unknown. You know, I've had moments where I've literally been in tears twice. And I've had periods where I've been down and felt depressed and miserable. And I've asked myself, am I ever going to be able to do this? Am I just one of those, you know, people? But fortunately, I'm lucky in the sense that I can get beaten down, and a couple of days later, I can come back with, you know, a kind of a new a new bit of drive. It's just lucky the type of person I am. But it is painful, I got to say, when I think this is probably going to come back to the EMA. We've got a nice little measured leg in. We've broken the highs, and we are getting a little bit of sideways here. So I think there's a good chance this comes back to the EMA. Now, is that a good enough reason to take a trade? Probably not. But we got a nice measured leg there. A lower high, I think, would be a safer option. But we've got a leg and a leg. You can clearly see we're going sideways there, so it is losing a bit of momentum. And as I say, we've broken the highs of the day. So my guess, it's probably going to come down, but the safer option would be a lower high because you just never know. Best traders in the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. People think it's easy. And in all fairness, I thought it was myself, because all I'm looking at is bars going up and bars going down. And all I've got to do is press buy or press sell. How hard can it be? It's uncanny how difficult it is. Neil, how you doing, bud? I've got a few Apex PAs in drawdown and near to stopping out. I want to build up the ability to get myself out of drawdown, but I'm tempted to buy some new evals so I can start again. From your perspective, is it best to keep grinding away? My honest opinion, yes. Could I do it myself? I don't think I ever have. I don't think I've got I've got myself out of maybe a $500 or $600 hole. But I think if I'm honest with myself, if it's been $1,000 or $700 or $800, I haven't. I've taken a risk to try and get it back, which I believe is the wrong way to do it. Now, I mentioned this yesterday, and I'll mention it again. There's a trader that I chat with now and again, and I followed him. You guys will probably know him. He's got a Facebook group. His name's Shilan Winter. And he put a video out yesterday. I'll find it for you. And I'm glad you brought that up, because this is a really important point. This is the guy there, okay? You'll have recognised him. Now, he put that video out. Now, I'll just kill the sound a minute. And I put a comment on here. I put, bud, I remember saying something to you once. It may have been about 18 months ago or so. You had a 25,000 eval account at the time. I think it was something like $800 in the red. We had a good discount at the time, and I remember saying to you, why don't you just take a risk and try and get back in the green? If it doesn't work, just pick up another account. You said to me you didn't want to trade like that. You wanted to do it the right way, and that is a great attitude. It's an attitude very few traders have. That's a solid attitude towards trading, and I've never forgot it. I knew you'd do really well. And he said, I remember. But he, for months, was in and out of drawdown on $25,000 evals. Now that is the right way to do it, because you're putting in the foundations of good habits. The trouble is with evaluations being so cheap, it's very easy to get that kind of, being that kind of throwaway society. It's like, I do wonder, are we going to have antiques in 100 years time? Because we don't make much in the way of quality stuff anymore. It's cheap. You throw it away and you buy another. So I think it's entirely up to you there, bud. You feel it's holding you back. I know exactly how you feel. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, if I'm going to spend the next month trying to drag myself out the hole and possibly blow it, whereas I can be back to square one, you can do that. But what you've got to try and do is not get into the habit of continuously doing it. Because I've done it myself. That's why I've taken over 1,000 evaluations, because I've had that attitude, and I've realised over time that it's not the right way to do it. So, by all means, do it a few times, but you have to learn from it and then decide next time it happens, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But I don't want to say you shouldn't do it, because I've done it myself, but it's kind of that. It's just kind of what we do, isn't it? Don't want to get into a cycle of blowing a cat, so I reckon I'll just keep grinding away. Yeah, Or even maybe keep grinding with your older ones and give yourself a little bit of a boost, might maybe get 1 or 2 more. So at least you've got some kind of building from 0 upwards, and you've got a few that you're kind of grinding away. So maybe find like a happy medium to get you kind of, you know, so you don't feel like you're flogging a dead horse. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, at least that way you just pick up another account or two, and at least that way you're starting from afresh there as well. And you know, those ones are kind of along for the ride. Just, you know, trade copy them and forget about them. And if they come out, then great. If not, you know, and trade normal, not gambling because it's cheap, not profit. Don't waste it. Yeah, that's the downside to having cheap evaluations. Because it's human nature. If something doesn't hold much value, you take less care of it. It's human nature. You know, if you were driving down the road in a £200,000 car and you parked in a supermarket, pretty sure you'd park 1,000,000 miles away from every other car. Whereas if you were driving down the road in a $200 old banger, you'd park it anywhere. So that's life, unfortunately. If something holds less value, you take less care of it. And that's the negative side of cheap evaluations. They can promote risk taking, which is never a good thing. And I'm a lot of that's down to a lot of the way I've treated accounts in the past is because of that very reason. Because I've thought it's cheap, I'm taking a risk. But the trouble is, it's okay to do it once or twice, but that can lead you to get into a habit of doing it on a daily basis. And all you're going to do is prolong your learning. You're going to empty your bank account, and you're just going to create a lot more frustration for yourself. It ain't nice. You can get yourself into quite a low place. You're welcome, mate, anytime. Incidentally, if anytime anyone wants to, you know, message me on Facebook for a bit of advice or a chat or a friendly ear or whatever, or just a natter, feel free. I'll talk trading all day long. But yeah, it's easy done. We've all done it, every single one of us. We're not all amazing like Karina. I personally think women make better traders. I won't tell her that. I'm pretty sure she's got her fingers in her ears at the moment and not listening. But trouble is with males, we're a little bit gung-ho. We tend to run in swinging. I think women tend to, they're kind of the calmer. So yeah, it's I think women have got a better, a calmer nature, I think, for trading. In fact, I even mentioned to my wife about having a go at it. And she said, I don't want to end up like a sado stuck in a bedroom like you, were the words she used. So there you go. Male ego, yeah, we have got egos, haven't we? It's not our fault. It's not our fault we've got extra testosterone. In fact, I was watching a comedian last night, Jim Jeffries, and he was talking about relationships. He was talking about lesbian relationships, gay relationships, and heterosexual relationships. And by far, lesbian marriages don't last nowhere near as long as heterosexual marriages, and heterosexual marriages don't last long as gay marriages. And what he said, when there's two women together, it doesn't work. When there's a male and a woman together, it lasts a bit longer. And when there's two men together, what's the word for gay? It's happy, isn't it? No women in the mix, and they tend to get on very well. That's not me, by the way. That's coming from a comedian, but it just goes to show, as soon as you put ladies in the mix, that's a joke, by the way. That's a cheaters. I've got to say, hand on my heart, I've never cheated on my wife. In all honesty, I think one woman is enough in my life, I think. But yeah, you get two gay men, they tend to get on really well, don't they? There's something about, I know there was a guy who used to do my hair actually, and I got to say, one of the friendliest guys you'll ever meet. What is going on here? Daniel, hello UK Futures Trader. Sorry for asking. Don't mean to be rude, but what's your win rate and how many trades on average do you find a week? My win rate, I recently swapped over to, I had a win rate of, I ended up, and we're just talking about that, losing all my accounts. So I reset everything and went on to, I'm just at the moment in the middle of setting up this Pat's journal, this thing here, to rejournal. But I think my win rate was something like 77%. And I tend to go for one-to-one. In fact, it showed less than one-to-one because I got a little bit out. How many trades do I find in a week? I would probably say somewhere on average around about 4. Sometimes a little less, sometimes one more, but I rarely get a setup every single day. I had 2 setups earlier. One worked, the other one I got break even, but the other one would have worked. And I haven't taken 2 trades in a day for 2 months. So yeah, if I can find a trade a day, I'm kind of more than happy, but I'm kind of going through an area of being super strict at the moment, which is not a bad thing. But if you trade in Pats, 1 to 2 trades a day, I rarely find more than 1. But usually when I've taken 1 trade, I rarely take another. I've kind of done my work. I'm pleased with what I've done. And I rarely take another unless I see an absolute beauty. In the group, I'm ladies, we blow less than gentlemen. I absolutely agree. And we take more slow. Women are just a calmer, just biologically, they're built different, they're calmer. Men have an ego, it's a fact of life. We are very much ego driven, we're full of testosterone. We tend to run with our chin up into trouble, don't we? Women, I mean, how many times if you watch the news on weekends, you see it all around the UK, that everyone's out in the town centres and the cities having a drink. The guys are beating the living daylights out of each other and the women are just trying to pull them apart. So that's why I think women make better traders than men. They've just got a better they're just better personality. They're generally, I mean, there are women out there, I'm pretty sure, who were just as loud and as fearsome as some men. But generally, women are calmer. And I think if you've got a calmer nature, I think that's a plus for traders. So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I should get back into the regular monthly payments again. Recently been trying to work on it, but it is, yeah. How long have you been, 2 questions, mate. Where are you from, Daniel, and how long have you been trading, bud? Yeah, fear of missing out's a big one. Everyone goes through that stage. What I will say is all the stages that you're going through, fear of missing out, moving your stock 3.5 years, fear of missing out. Do you know what? I've been trading now for a little over 4.5 years, and it took me about 4 years till I started doing less in the way of stupid things. So it does take time, bud. One of the things I had to really work hard on was to learn to forgive myself. Because we do stupid things as traders, not because we choose to, because we're human beings and human beings have flaws. Human beings really aren't designed to be traders. We don't we don't work that way. And you've got to go through that process of banging your head against the wall eventually to realise this is just not getting me nowhere. So it does take time, bud. But the more you do something, sooner or later, it won't continue to have that same effect. Your brain just won't allow it. Sooner or later, you'll just give up. And that's what I started to do, but it does take time. It's not easy. But you can put certain things in place to help. But I watched a professional trader who'd been trading for years talking about psychology. And he said the best traders in the world aren't necessarily, they don't have that super self-control like you would believe. They just put things into place. They realize where their weaknesses are and they put things into place to try and combat them. And the words were used, everyone has a limit and we will all crack and do something stupid. But the smart traders put things in place to support them, because no one's got that amount of patience that they can stand everything. We all kind of, and that made me feel better in a way. And when you get better at something and you get more self-control, it's also like a muscle. If the more you lift, you do a bicep curl, sooner or later your arm will automatically get stronger. So it's very similar to that. It's very similar to a muscle. But yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But it's not easy. But you have got to learn to forgive yourself as well, because you can almost do that kind of self-sacrifice. Damn it, I've cocked up now, might as well just go all in, and if I lose, it's my own stupid fault. That's something I used to do a lot of. So, I mean, for instance, if you use NinjaTrader, you could purchase yourself something called Guardian Angel Trader, where you can actually set locks to stop you doing things, and it will literally block you out. So there are certain things you can do, to help support yourself. But anytime you want to Facebook Messenger me for whatever reason, for a bit of advice, things that have helped me, or just a bit of you need a bit of emotional lift or something, feel free to. This is a kind of journey we all go through, and you've got to help each other, because it's surprising if sometimes I used to have a really bad day and someone would message me and just, give me a little bit of encouragement and, say, don't worry, it does happen. I've done it myself. It does actually give you a lift, and it gets you back in the game a bit quicker. So it is important to help each other. We've got kind of a higher low here, but it's a bit choppy here. So I think the sensible option here is just I think there's a good chance it is going to push up, certainly to the highs, but at the moment it's chopping around. So it may not do it straight from here. It may decide to chop back a bit. But the simple answer is, another thing as well, it took me a long time to start filtering poor trades out. Now, the simple answer is, if Mac looks at this, he will say it's congested, you can't take it. But it's very easy to go, well, we've got a bullish bar here and then a higher low. There's some bearish bars trapped here, so it's bound to go up. When it's going sideways, that the chance of it doing what you expect starts to decrease, and you just never know. So whenever price is doing this, forget it, leave it alone. That's as important, knowing when to stay out, as knowing when to get in. So straight away you're thinking there's some bears trapped there, let's go long here, and then all of a sudden it triggers you and starts to work down. Now it may hold and it may go up, but when it's chopping around sideways like that, perfectly congested, you have to leave it alone. And that's a problem I used to have. The amount of times I just jump into a trade and guarantee the second you do it, it just kind of knows. It offers you a market, leaves a weak position on the table. You jump in and wham, you're hooked, and it's downhill. You know, I know what I think is likely to happen, but when it goes choppy like that, the chances of it working starts to diminish. I mean, it does look like it's working higher, doesn't it? So it probably will. But sometimes it's got a habit of doing that, trapping a load of longs, and all of a sudden, wham, leg and a leg, and it'll come down for a second leg. I don't think it will now. We're literally, but sometimes it'll do that. It'll trigger you, and then woof, it'll clean out all this liquidity in here, and then you're screwed. But and not only that, you've got to have enough room to the highs. So if you took a trade there, you wouldn't even have a point there to the highs. And what it can do is break above it there and then start to trace, start to pull back. So, and if you'd have taken that one as well, you'd have pushed up. You'd have got half a ticket, half a point out of that, and all of a sudden it's looking like it may pull back. So when it's like that, develop FOMO again. Ever since Penguin Trader developed a new style to his system, he has, hasn't he? Everything has gone downhill for me. But I'll consider contacting you. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Anytime, honestly. Yeah, I mean, he did change, didn't he? He changed to, because he used to trade at 2000. I've watched him on and off for a couple of years now, and I've played around with very similar sorts of. In fact, for me, that trade there was based very much on that. We got a leg down, 2 clear legs up. We got a leg up with a correction and a leg up. And what I like there, there's a failure there, and you've got buyers trapped there. But there's no reason why you can't trade how we used to trade, you know, stick with a 2000 tick chart and do the same thing. But a lot of the times now, if he takes a short here, he'll get in maybe here, and he'll put his stop up here. So he's very good at what he does, but I've got caught out a few times. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's not. But yeah, I think it's a good system, but like most systems, the system is part of it. Applying it to the correct context is the really difficult bit that kind of frustrates you. Do you see what I was talking about there? We got a big bullish bar here. We got a higher low there, maybe another higher low there. When it goes sideways, it gets a lot more unpredictable. So if you'd have thought, oh, higher low there, we're bound to push up, make a new highs. Yeah, we did. But as soon as we did, we pulled straight back, stopped out that bar and that bar. And that's what I mentioned earlier. Market's got a habit of getting in weak positions. These are all weak positional trades, and what it does is it pushes up, makes a new high, and instantly comes down and clears all that liquidity out. And then the experienced traders are down here waiting to get back in after all these have been trapped, and then it may continue up. But as soon as it starts to chop like that, don't even bother trying to read it, just leave it alone. I don't know how many times I'd have taken that trade and thought, yeah, we've got a bearish bar, we'll trap that one, that'll give us some momentum. Just enough to get 3 ticks above there and then straight down. So if you'd have got into that trade, you'd have got a 1.25 at a push. If you'd have got into that trade, you wouldn't even have got a point before it came down and stopped you out. So as bullish as that bar and that bar seems, it pushed up, came straight down. Sometimes the first bar, or if it's a solid position, will stay intact and it'll pick off all these weaker ones here, which is exactly what it did. So it just goes to show, I actually put a leg back there and said that's what I was concerned of, and it did exactly what I was concerned with. So the more you sit here and you notice these things, the more you'll remember them. So when you look at this picture before, there's something in the back of your head going, I've been here before and it never ended well. and you leave it alone, which is exactly what I did. And all of a sudden, it did exactly what I thought it could do. So the more you sit here day by day, the more you'll just start to get used to how price moves, and it just gets, you know, one thing people tend to do, and I've done it myself, you focus so much on the negative side, the losses and how frustration it feels, and what you forget about is what's going on in the background. You're learning and you're reading, but we don't focus on that. We tend to focus on the stuff that makes us feel like shit. But what you're forgetting is you're constantly learning while you're doing this. So you are picking up a skill. So it may be a painful skill to learn, but you're still picking up a skill nonetheless. And at some point, you'll start to identify these and think, I've been down this road before, I ain't falling for it again. And it'll do exactly what you think, and you'll start to... It's a nice feeling when you stay out of a trade because it doesn't feel right and it goes against you. It just goes to show that you are learning. But it does take an awful long time, which is a frustrating part. So, still at the moment, it's choppy. 1 minute looks like it's going up, then it looks like it's going down. So there's just not really much you can do. I might pull this down a bit. So here's a slightly different perspective. This actually looks a little bit neater. That fits a bit better. So clearly at the moment we're going sideways. Now I'm guessing as we've had that push up, I would probably expect 2 legs down and then quite possibly move up, just because I've seen it happen a lot of times. Now we've had this leg up, haven't we? Now there's no guarantees, but if I was to bet money, I'd guess it's probably going to push up. I wouldn't necessarily trade it, but this is clearly a little range here, so a long here wouldn't be a bad option because you've got 2 legs down. But obviously you've got to have the right signal bar. I'd like it to break below there first because there's probably going to be a bit of liquidity there. It has done. So if we get a nice strong bullish bar now, I don't think that's a bad option. Depends how far it goes down, really. So what I will say is, let's put that there like that. Kind of add 2 legs back there. Trouble is we've had 2 legs up. We may have made 2 attempts to push high. It still could come back down. See, I don't bother counting or anything anymore. I just like the look. If I like the look of it, I take it. If I don't, it's just something about this I'm not wrapped with. Oh. So Thomas Wade has got that. That actually doesn't look that bad. 2 legs down. You can get a higher low here. That might not be a bad option. Let's see if anybody else has got that channel. No, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not sure. That's Thomas Wade's what he tends to do, widen it quite quick. That to me at the moment just looks like 2 legs up. So that is one freaky guy, isn't he? I was reading about him a couple of weeks ago. It was about the executions. That is one absolute nutcase. So, is this now coming down? Could be. I think it's gone too far really to push back in. Thomas Wade took that there. I'm really surprised he took that. He went for 6 ticks. Where did he get in? Actually, right on the close. So he was lucky there. Skin of the teeth. If he'd have been going for 2 points, he'd have lost that one. I'm really surprised he took that one. It doesn't look any more congested. He's so lucky there that 1 tick and that'd have gone against him. No, it's just, I mean, it's completely congested. Especially that bar there, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars side by side. And Mac will say, whenever you got 3 or more bars, and one of them's a doji, you got to stay out of that. And not only that, we got a bunch of bars and 3 of them are dojis. So it went for 6 ticks exactly. Well, 7 ticks, so it ticked through. Now he goes normally for between 2 and 3 points. So ordinarily that would have gone against him. Purely and simply because it's completely stacked up. So it's unlike him. I'm really surprised he took that one. That doesn't. Yeah, I'm really surprised. Yeah, that's it there. I mean, he literally, that was the bar there. He got in right on the nose and just Just got his 6 ticks. Otherwise it gone against him. But look how stacked it is up. It's exactly the same as mine, but it just goes to show. I'm really so shocked he took that. That's unlike him, really. He's usually super strict. So this does look like we're moving down now. So what I'd like to see is a couple of legs up. Test this area here. And then maybe a second leg down. So I'd love to see that. Somewhere along those lines. And then down for a second leg. Sometimes it'll just come down. It doesn't look like it's going to. Usually if it picks up liquidity, it's picked up some here. That's where I'd expect it to pull back a little bit. But it doesn't look like it's going to. So it's not the easiest of days today. It is looking like it's probably just a range. Obviously depends how far it comes back down. Yeah, it's not easy to read lately. It's been quite a bit choppy. It is working down nice this now. So there's bound to be some support up here. So we may get something like that now. We'll see. Okay, excuse me just a second. I've got to sign for a parcel. Let's say some may take those. I tend to avoid them. It's just too far from that EMA. It is working along there nice, but I never feel comfortable taking them that far from that EMA. It probably will work. But I'm surprised we haven't had a pullback from this yet. it didn't work. They often do. I just don't feel comfortable taking them that because you never quite know when it's going to decide to tick there and push up. Well, I wouldn't have got my profit yet. It would have to push to there. In fact, I'll be down here with my stop now anyway, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. That's where my profit would have been. May still work, but trouble is, if you're taking a trade there, you're right close to lows. There's probably a few ticks if you're lucky. We've always really got to be out before those lows. You don't know it's going to do that. I'm half expecting a break of this channel. Once it starts picking off bits of liquidity here, usually if the next line of liquidity down here, traders usually take profits, which then obviously often creates that pullback, and then they may decide to jump further back in there. But it's going to work, I think, anyway. What it would have done. It would have worked. I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see if anybody takes those, but I always avoid them. I don't like to rely just on that channel. For me, that EMA is the real lifeline. But I have heard people say in the past it's more important that the channel's there, but I always kind of like both. So it's definitely just starting to look like a range. A range in a range. How many trades in a minute? Not a lot, really. What have I... there's only kind of one trade that I've seen. There was something else. Well, the one I liked was that one. I thought that was textbook type. 2 legs down, bullish bar, breaking below all this to push back up. That one I liked as well, 2 legs up. Trouble is, it came back on me once and then a second time, so I got out in the end. But it did go on to win, but not a huge amount. Some may have taken that. I haven't seen any, to be fair. But that bar there, it's off that key entry point, but it's too far from that EMA for me. and there's no room to the lows, but it did push down. It's not a huge, it's not an easy day today. It's, we push up, we spend a bit of time chopping, we have 2 legs up, and then all of a sudden we're pulling strong back. My day's done anyway. I'm up nicely for today anyway. I'm up 150 on some of my accounts and 300 on the others. Okay, that doesn't look too bad to me. There's just something here that I'm just not massively fond of. See if we get a lower high. See if we get a lower high.
Order submitted.
It's just something here that that's bothering me. I can't put my finger on it.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, I'm glad I left it. I think sometimes it's hard to put your finger on, but something is just making me feel uneasy. And to trigger and turn up like that and not stop that out, it just never happens. So if you did take that second entry short, it didn't work. So yeah, it's hard to say. You may argue we've already had a break in a new low here. It's not super clear. That's the problem. See, sometimes they look like they're going to work, but I don't know what it is, but something just felt uncomfortable there. So I'm glad I left it. If you look here, it fits okay, but then I don't know what you do. Perhaps we need, I mean, the bigger the channel down, often the bigger the move, the bigger the break. So we may get a leg and it may pull down from there. It's so hard to say. But that did trap a few though. Yeah, I mean, we could have had an overshoot there, and obviously that may make a difference. I'm not necessarily convinced there is. It's hard to say. Yeah, maybe there's an overshoot. Maybe that's the problem. It's just something about it I didn't like anyway, so I'm quite happy to let it go. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just not doing nothing at the moment because we've had a leg up, and a leg up. Now, if there's an overshoot, as we know, that can create a reversal or a bigger correction. So it could correct and then come down. It's just hard to know at the moment. It's just hard to know. It's quite a messy day today. I mean, there is support across here, so we may push up here and drop. It's hard to say. But I think the trouble is, as traders, sometimes we feel like we have to know what's going on to make a decision. And I think the simple fact is, it's quite often traders don't know. Now, if traders always knew what was going on, we wouldn't have moments of going sideways. Sideways means there's some uncertainty. There's a mix of buyers and sellers. So uncertainty, is it going up? Is it going down? And the sensible thing to do when it's doing that is to stay out. And that's often why it continues to go sideways. So I think it's okay. It's perfectly normal to, you know, accept the fact that I don't know what's going on. You have that sort of ego in you that you feel like you have to know. And I've done it myself, and I try and make head and tail of it and think, oh, let's have a go at this. I should know what's going on. And I think the simple answer is even the best traders in the world, as Max said, are sitting on their hands because, you know, at times they don't know what's going on with the markets. And at the moment, there's a overshoot could create possibly a reversal. So, you know, we could have a couple of legs up and then it may start to fail and eventually push down, or it could just reverse. At the moment, it's in a reasonably nice looking channel going up. So, simple thing is to do nothing. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I know Alpine and Nutty have both had bad days. And both finished for the day. It happens. So, 2 legs up. Let's see where this thing goes. Okay, I think I'm going to knock it on the head today. I'm yawning like mad at the moment. What time is it? So I've done how long? 2 hours and 20 on the stream and an hour before. So yeah, I'm going to knock it on the head there. I'm quite comfortably up today. My accounts are nicely up at the moment. 300 on a lot of them. 150 after, and then obviously commission. So that's looking at 2. I'd stick an extra 0 on there if I was you, mate. You know what Mac's like. So, excuse me. Yeah. I'm nodding off here. I am. So yeah, I'll leave you guys to it. So good day today. I'm up a trade. I'm pleased with that. That's plenty for me. Considering what it's going to be like, it's not been brilliant. I haven't had anything in the last couple of days, I don't think. So that's good. I'm pleased with that. So I'll leave you guys to it. I'll be back tomorrow. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Otherwise, have a great evening, stay safe, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.